The day I lost my home, I thought I'd already lost everything. My wife was gone. My savings were nearly gone. And now, my own son-in-law stood in my living room, pointing toward the front door. You have until tonight. I packed 38 years of memories into a few old boxes. As I reached the porch, my daughter threw an old torn garbage bag at my feet. Take your trash with you. The bag ripped open. I almost left it behind, but something inside caught my eye. A sealed envelope, a bank passbook, and a handwritten note that would change my life forever. My name is Edward. I'm 72 years old. For nearly 4 decades, my wife, Susan, and I lived in the same little house. It wasn't luxurious, but every wall held a memory. Our daughter's first steps, birthday parties, Christmas mornings, late-night conversations that lasted until sunrise. When Susan passed away after her battle with cancer, the house became painfully quiet. I stayed because it was the only place where I still felt close to her. My daughter, Rachel, visited often at first. Then everything changed after she married Kevin. Kevin always talked about money, property values, investments, real estate. Every visit somehow became a conversation about selling my house. You don't need all this space. You could move into a retirement apartment. You'll have extra cash. Every time, I politely refused. This house is my home. Months later, Kevin returned with paperwork. Dad, we found the perfect beer. I looked at him in disbelief. I never agreed to sell. He smiled. You will. The pressure became relentless. Calls, messages, arguments. Even Rachel started repeating his words. Dad, it's time to move on. One afternoon. I made the mistake of signing documents I believed were related to property taxes. I trusted my daughter. Weeks later, I discovered I'd unknowingly signed paperwork authorizing the sale process. My attorney immediately explained that the documents were legally binding because I had signed voluntarily. I was devastated. Within a month, the house was sold. On moving day, I quietly packed my clothes, family photographs, and Susan's favorite quilt. Kevin stood near the door checking his watch. Hurry up, the new owners arrive in an hour. As I carried my final box outside, Rachel walked into the garage. She grabbed an old broken garbage bag filled with random belongings. She tossed it toward me. Take your trash. The bag burst open across the driveway. Old books, broken picture frames, yellowed letters, a dusty cookie tin. I slowly gathered everything. Then I noticed something hidden inside the tin, a sealed envelope with my name, written in Susan's handwriting. My hands started shaking. Inside was another envelope, a bank savings certificate, balance, $700,000. Underneath it, a handwritten letter. My dearest Edward, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer beside you. I know how much you love this house. But I also know that people sometimes change when money enters the picture. Years ago, I quietly opened this account using profits from selling my family's farmland. I never told anyone except my attorney, not even Rachel. This money isn't meant to make you rich. It's meant to make sure no one can ever control you. Promise me one thing. Never let anyone make you believe your worth depends on what you own. Home isn't a building. Home is your dignity. By the time I finished reading, I couldn't stop crying. Unknown to everyone, Susan had also left instructions. The account included enough money to purchase another home outright. My attorney smiled. Susan planned for everything. Instead of buying another large house, I purchased a peaceful lakeside cottage. Small, quiet, filled with sunlight. Exactly the kind of place Susan had always dreamed about. I planted her favorite roses in the garden, built a reading bench beneath an old oak tree. For the first time since her passing, I felt at peace. Months later, Rachel unexpectedly visited. She looked exhausted. Kevin had made several disastrous investments. Most of the money from selling my old house had disappeared. Their marriage was falling apart. She walked through my garden in silence, then noticed Susan's roses. Tears filled her eyes. I remember Mom planting these. I nodded. So do I. She finally admitted the truth. Kevin had manipulated her. He convinced her selling my house would benefit everyone. She never imagined how cruel the process would become. I failed you, Dad, she whispered. I chose convenience over family. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I handed her Susan's letter. She read every word. By the end, she couldn't stop crying. I threw away the one thing Mom protected. I gently corrected her. No, you almost did, but your mother never stopped protecting both of us. Over time, Rachel divorced Kevin, not because of the money, because she finally recognized the kind of man he truly was. She began visiting every weekend. Sometimes we'd cook together. Sometimes we'd simply sit beside the lake. One evening she smiled through tears. Dad, I thought Mom left us money, but she actually left us wisdom. I smiled. That's worth far more. Today, Susan's letter remains framed above my fireplace, not because of the $700,000, but because every morning, it reminds me of one simple truth. People can take your house, they can take your possessions, but they can never take your dignity, unless you hand it to them yourself. The greatest inheritance isn't money. It isn't property. It isn't even a family home. The greatest inheritance is the courage to walk away from people who mistake your kindness for weakness. Because real wealth isn't measured by the size of your bank account. It's measured by the peace in your heart. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that families should protect one another, not take advantage of one another.